Thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. Ilgiz Tanshayev from Uzbekistan is just about ready to get this game underway in Philadelphia. The last 16 of the World Cup continues. We've already seen Morocco advance against co-host Canada earlier this evening, and the winner of this game between Paraguay and France will face Morocco, and it looks like a fabulous afternoon, early evening in Philadelphia. Beautiful sunshine. There was a threat of some thunderstorms. There are still some thunderstorms potentially later tonight, but they shouldn't affect this game in any way at all. And the game is now underway. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and John Hogan taking you through the action. John, as we're just about ready for this game to get underway, how do you see this one going? Do we give Paraguay much of a chance, or is this really just down to France getting into gear?
Well, you've got to give them some semblance of a chance, but I saw them against Germany. They nicked a goal. Germany were better than them, despite the commentary from Shearers, Paraguay deserved it. I'm not sure they did. Germany created 3 times as many chances, but it's about putting the ball in the back of the net. And of course, then a penalty shootout where the keeper I thought was superb, Orlando Gil. He's 6'6", he fills the goal really nicely. I don't see a way through for them really, and I actually think it could end up being 4 or 5 for France.
We'll have to wait. As I say, Paraguay certainly will feel confident that they've got to this stage, but they're up against a side who aren't going to be afraid to attack them. Germany, a little bit disappointing as a long ball is swept back by Upamecano, and Mangan has to really rush to make sure he keeps that in play from it going out for a corner kick. Now there's pressure on Saliba as well. He's got Gomez on his back. He's trying to turn away. Paraguay, well, that's the best thing that Paraguay can do, is to try and pounce on any loose balls, any loose possession from France. Could you imagine that as the 90 minutes progresses, it's going to be quite hard for Gustavo Alfaro's team to have any kind of real possession. But here come France now. Koundé with a ranging run all the way to the edge of the area. Early ball coming in. Mbappe ready to pull the trigger, but just as he was about to, looks like it was Kubas got in his way. And then a quick clearance from Alderete over the halfway line. But already France trying to show some attacking intent early on.
Well, exactly. And Paraguay there, had got bodies caught up the field because they were trying to press and for a good reason. They want to nick a goal. But then they found themselves wide open. Koundé drove and they couldn't catch up with him. There's pace abounds in this France team and hard to stop them. And I was thinking, well, that's okay. They're up against the back 5, so they've got 5 defenders for the 4 good attackers. But you've got somebody like Elise who can pot shot from the edge of the box. Nobody's going to catch up with Mbappe anyway. I just can't see a way through for them.
It's going to be a difficult evening, you'd imagine, for Paraguay. They want a free kick here, France in midfield, but our referee, Mr. Tanshayev, says nothing doing. It's back towards the halfway line. I'll remind you of the 2-11s in just a moment, but for the time being, I've got a little bit of, I was going to say attacking possession. It's midfield possession here for France, but there's a little bit of intent here as Rabiot looks up, trying to get a ball towards the edge of the area. Quick header away from Gustavo Gomez. Ball back on the halfway line here with William Saliba, who's squared to Digne down this left-hand side, but the ball to Barcola is blocked. It's cleared and it's out for a throw to France deep inside their own half. So it is Orlando Gil in goal for Paraguay. Then it's a back 5 of Juan Caceres, Gustavo Velasquez, Gustavo Gomez, Omar Alderete and Junior Alonso. The 4 across the middle are Diego Gomez, Andreas Kubas, Matthias Galazra and Miguel Almiron, with the front man being Julio Enciso. As for France, it is Mike Miangan in goal. Then it's a back 4 of Jules Koundé, Deo Upamecano, William Saliba and Luca Digne. Then it's Manu Kone and Adrien Rabiot as the 2 holding midfielders, with Ousmane Dembele, Michael Elise and Bradley Barcola as the attacking 3 playing behind Kylian Mbappe. And France in possession down the left-hand side with Digne into the middle here for Mbappe, who just dropped a little bit deeper this time. Mbappe on the ball now, going square to Upamecano. And France really do get all their outfield players involved when they're in attacking position, because they can afford to. They know that all the sides they play are going to try and sit back as deep as they can. Here is Elise now down the left-hand side, running into a bit of a cul-de-sac, just having to play the ball back in towards Koundé. Kone now. Koundé goes just a little bit in front of Elise, but Elise gets to the byline, puts a right-footed cross in, aimed at Rabiot. It's headed clear to the edge of the area. There is Mbappe just at the edge of the D. Just too many Paraguay players getting in his way, and the ball is eventually played away. But that's good pressure there from Digne. He wins the ball back for his side, but eventually Gomez just about does enough. Combination of himself and Almiron are able to get this ball cleared over the half line. But already you get the feeling that Paraguay are having to sort of do last-ditch stuff here, aren't they?
Well, yeah, it's like that, like last 5 minutes of an FA Cup tie or something. But they were saying, maybe France is susceptible at the back and all that. I was thinking, you're kidding, everyone in the back 4 won something last season. Luca Digne. what a career he's had. I think he's a terrific player, and of course they won the Europa League, didn't they, Aston Villa? So every single one of them won something this season. There's not many weak spots here. I think somebody said, "Oh, well, Rabiot's not so hot." I think he's a good player.
Well, if I was being forced to find a weak spot in the French team, I would probably say that when you look at the quality of some of the outfield players, maybe Mike Miangan is one level below that. But it's not as if he's a bad goalkeeper. It's just that maybe he's not sort of in the top 5 of the world. But I mean, even so, you're gonna have to work pretty hard just to get anywhere near Miangan because of the outfield players in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of became available last summer, and not that many clubs wanted to expend the amount of money that it was going to cost to take him. So he sort of got left there at Milan. I said left there because he's a great club, Maignan a good keeper, I think. Hugo Lloris, he's the man who's still got the most caps for France at about 140 odd, hasn't he? But he's not quite as good as him. That's probably right.
Potentially, I mean, I say when you look at it, but say Lloris obviously has been the main man for France for many, many years. You've got Miangan on 44 caps in this squad. Got Brice Samba with 4 caps, and then Robin Rissler, the third keeper, has never played a game for France, but he's at this World Cup as well. France, in the meantime, have been keeping possession. They've moved forward now down the left here with Barcola. Runs straight into Almiron, though. Almiron now trying to get started down this right-hand side, but immediately runs into a combination of Adina and Barcola. France win the ball back in midfield. Paraguay cannot get over the halfway line here. Even if they're stopping France in front of their penalty area, they're not really able to keep any possession themselves. And here goes Elise down the right-hand side into Dembele. Dembele clips the ball into Elise. That's a good covering header, though. Needed to be there from Gustavo Gomez before it's volleyed clear here by Junior Alonso up to the halfway line. And Upamecano is tracking that one all the way. It's not really a fair fight, is it? An aerial battle between Upamecano and Julio Enciso, and he just wins that header easily.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by France already. I tell you what it is. When we watch Spain playing against somebody who's a 5, they pad the ball around and all of a sudden they look a bit toothless. I was watching Koundé there break the line. And then I was watching Kone break the line. And then I was, watching Elise, who I think was playing second striker today, but out the right, breaking the line. And then you're thinking, everybody's dragging everybody everywhere.
Yeah. There's an energy level about France that I think some of the more fancied sides, like Spain, perhaps just struggle to get into that mode. As the quick corner kick comes in from the left-hand side, it's nodded clear. Is it going to be kept in play? It was Velasquez has got his head to it. I think for a moment there, France were thinking about keeping that ball in play. Mbappe's been very closely marked. The throw-on's been taken short here by Koundé. It's back now with Manu Kone just in front of the penalty area. Goes square to Digne. Digne thought about a cross from quite a straight angle, but in the end he goes back into midfield here now. And the ball played across towards Manu Kone. Does well to get away from 2 challenges. And here's Jules Koundé now. There could have been a foul on Kone there at the edge of the area. Referee not interested in that, though. France keep possession here down the right-hand side of Upamecano going back to Elise. France may want to be kicking the ball out because Kone has still stayed down. He's actually come into the team today because of an injury to Aurélien Tchouameni. But Kone picks himself up. France didn't need to put the ball out of play. And then there's a block on this right-hand side from Juan Caceres. So it's out for a throw to France on the left-hand side. It's 7.5 minutes on the clock from Philadelphia. It is goalless, but it is non-stop France possession in the final third. And here is Digne into Barcola, who just asked too much of himself there. But then a horrible shanked clearance there. That's not what Gustavo Velasquez wanted to do there. The Serran Pontero defender just completely toe ends that one. He wanted to get that one towards the halfway line. In the end, it goes out for a throw level with the edge of the area. But Digne's throw actually goes further back into midfield. Saliba over towards Koundé now on the right-hand side. Kone into Upamecano. And now it's Rabiot just at the edge of the area. Rabiot again, just banks of Paraguay players in front of the penalty area. And it's worth pointing out as well that Paraguay aren't playing with 3 at the back and then 2 wide men. They have literally got a 5 at the back and then 4 in midfield. They really are doing their best to just block the edge of the penalty area. And France are trying their best to find a way through. It's back with Upamecano now, 40 yards out from goal. Just going square, being closed down by Enciso. Is Saliba now with the ball into the penalty area. That's a good block from Juan Caceres. Pass into Enciso. He's out towards the right-hand side here. Almiron almost let it go out for a throw, but he's forced to track a long way back before he just sends a long ball up towards the halfway line. And that's going to be very easy for France to get possession back.
Yeah, you're right. It's a definite 5-4-1. And you know what? If you're going to low block. Don't mess about. Don't pretend to be doing it. And that's right. It's what they need to do. It's a long road to hang on in there. They're already hanging in there. There's 9 minutes gone. I can't imagine that it's going to be successful. You're inviting good players to, just pick you off. And yeah, I understand it, but I think you mentioned to me before kickoff, if France get an early goal, it's like it's almost done and dusted, isn't it?
Exactly. It's what do Paraguay do if France do score first? If France score twice before the break, what do Paraguay do then? But here comes the ball in from the right-hand side. Rabiot was the intended target. There's a header up in the air. There's probably going to be a free kick there against... well, now Rabiot's gone down as well. Paraguay wanted a free kick, saying that Rabiot had been pushed over. Then Rabiot was pushed over. In the end, the referee lets both of them go.
The referee was right. I didn't see a foul in either. We're watching the ball bounce and two players got it wrong. Yeah, one for each team, Yeah,
well, France have taken the throw on and the cross into the penalty area is deflected away, but it's kept alive here by Rabiot. He goes back to Digne. And Mbappe, as he likes to do in a slightly deeper role this time, I think he might have miscontrolled that in the end, and he actually back heels out for a throw himself. But Mbappe, similar to Kane, these are number 9s that like to drop very deep, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I'm looking at Rabiot taking off the ball there. I didn't think there was a foul by either, but second time I'm looking, and I think Juan Caceres there is dead lucky. You're not going to get away with that all the time, are you? Just shouldered right into the back of him, waiting for the ball.
I think he was getting away with the fact that a second earlier there might have been a push on him, but as I say, he probably did a little bit more than what was done to him a moment earlier. But France win the ball back in midfield. Paraguay enjoyed possession for 5 or 6 passes, and here come Didier Deschamps' men again with Elise now down the right-hand side, level with the edge of the area already. And Mbappe's waiting for a cross. If Elise he just gets away from 2 and then plays it back, and there was an attempt. Well, it was a thought about a shot from outside the box from Dembele. They've got so many players that could pull the trigger from outside the box, France. It really is a danger when you think of somebody like Elise, like Dembele, Mbappe, Barcola. The ball into Barcola this time is overhit, and that's out for a goal kick.
I could make a team that would have a stab at winning the World Cup off France's bench. You got N'Golo Kante, players like that. Ryan Cherky's going to walk into any other team.
Cherky, of course, yeah.
Desiree Doué, another one. Akliouche, I think he's a terrific player. They've got an embarrassment of riches and a strong team out there. Barkley in there and Desiree Doué be thinking, maybe it should be
and
me.
the 2 Hernandezes that can't get in the team, both Lucas and Tio. I mean, they're both excellent players as well. It really is a very, very talented squad, and absolutely no surprise that they were tipped as one of the favourites before the tournament, and they've actually delivered in terms of their playing style so far. But they've given away a free kick in midfield. That's a bit of a clumsy challenge there from Manu Kone, the Roma man, just with a little bit of a lunge there on the Matthias Galasra. Galasra can pick himself up. Kone never really got close to the ball there. It's a free kick to Paraguay, but it literally is on the tip of the centre circle here, just in French territory, and it's very central as well. So not entirely sure what Paraguay are intending on doing with this, because if it's just a lob ball straight down the middle, that's going to be very easy for the French defence and goalkeeper to see it coming. And if they play it short, well, there's every chance they could lose the ball high up the field as well. So wait and see what Gustavo Alfaro's men have decided here. The manager is actually barking out instructions to the free kick takers as well. Miguel Almiron is standing over this one. I'm just going to see. We're just going to see how he's going to try and take this free kick. As I say, it's a very central position here, and in the end, the free kick is taken along towards the edge of the area. Predictable, really, headed clear, and now Paraguay have got to get players back because the loose ball has dropped to Michael Elise, and he's herring down the right-hand side. In fairness, Paraguay are back in numbers quickly, so the counter-attack for France is on. And now Elise has been caught as well. Referee's not interested, though. He's telling Elise to stand up. France keep the ball alive, albeit they've had to track back towards the halfway line. Here is Saliba, and now Rabiot down the left-hand side here for Luca Digne. Digne holding it up. He's got a runner on that left-hand side in Barcola, but he prefers to play it back into midfield. Kone now, just outside the penalty area towards Dembele. Koundé in towards Elise, who's picked himself up in the meantime. Goes back to Jules Koundé, just outside the penalty area. Elise has a runner there in Koundé, but his pass is blocked, and then he gives away a free kick as well. And that's a chance for Paraguay to try and catch their breath.
Yeah, I'm thinking here, so... You've got Elise there. If I'm the French manager, I'm wanting Koundé to run round the back of him, not come on the inside where all the traffic is. I think the way to get round him, so they're 5, but there's still just one fullback. So if you can get the better of him as soon as you come inside, then underlapping him, you just run into traffic. So get round the back. I'd like to see Koundé, and I know that Digne is there to swing a ball in. More so than create the overlap, really. But I'd like to see that happen a bit more.
No, I completely agree. I think that if France, after 15, 20 minutes, have had all of the ball and haven't really done anything, they are going to have to try and just be a little bit more elaborate, because we can see after 14 minutes here that there really isn't much in terms of an attacking threat from Paraguay at all. It was just a ball down the right-hand side from Juan Caceres, and that one just sails straight out for a goal kick. France back in possession in midfield. And Michael Elise really is encompassing that free role. We saw him bombing down the right-hand side a moment ago. Now he's playing an almost defensive midfield role here as France start from the back. It's now on the left with Digne. Back to Elise. Under pressure there from Enciso, just playing it back towards Saliba. Now there's a bit more space in midfield here for Kone. It's got Koundé and Dembele here on this right-hand side. Two players immediately trying to block Dembele, so there's no options for him. He goes back in towards Kone. He's immediately being closed down by Galazra. Doing what they can here, Paraguay, to make it difficult, but they are sitting back quite deep, and a bit more spacing out for Barcola, just at the edge of the D. Thought about pulling the trigger, then he cuts back onto his left. Rabiot then has an overlap here. Digne's ball is catching practice in the end for Orlando Heel, and it's an easy save.
Yeah, I think he wanted the ball a bit sooner. He's left sweeping that ball, and it's pretty much all he can do. But I think that Digne, when he gets forward, his deliveries are usually excellent. I think he's what he's best at. He's not a great defensive left back, but I think he's an absolute quality player. He's keeping Matson pretty much in the reserves, if you like, at Aston Villa, isn't he? So, he's a terrific player. Like I said, his delivery is really good from that left-hand side, but you've got to give him the ball at the right time.
No, you do, but you made the point that he's probably a better going forward than he is in defence. I think most managers these days are prepared to forgive that with their wide defenders. I think that there's more of an expectation that they can actually get forward, and actually the out-and-out left-back that's only a defender has pretty much been sort of phased out these days, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's not really, he's not like a converted winger or anything like that, though. It's just that he delivers such a good ball. He must get a ton of assists. When Villa are playing well is when they can get him forward. But here comes Elise at a half turn.
The ball at the edge of the area. Elise there just being blocked by Gomez, and then a second ball deflects back into the 6-yard box. But Hill is there quickly just to make sure that the ball does not go out for a corner.
Yeah, Omar Alderete doing a good job as well. The Sunderland man just trying to check Elise. You know what? It's funny, isn't it? Palace have been on the upsurge, haven't they? And they've had a great time the last couple of years. But it all started really with Elise and Eze, didn't it? And I just thought any manager lucky enough to have a couple of players like that, you just know that you've got a great chance of nicking a game.
No, you do, absolutely. And when you think that neither of those players actually came from Palace, Elise started his journey with Reading, and Eze, of course, had the time at QPR and everything else. But it's interesting listening to those players. They all talk about cage football in South London as being something that's really helped them in terms of their skills, because you're playing in a very tight space. It's very physical, and you're having to use a lot of quick skills and quick movement with your feet to try and keep the ball alive. And of course, that's something that Elise, Eze, and I suppose the generation before them, Wilf Zaha, were excellent at.
Well, and that's not dissimilar to street football, really, in Brazil.
No, absolutely,
and that kind of thing.
It's the idea of learning skills in a very tight space, and potentially with a bit more physicality than you might have in a real game, and that obviously toughens the players up. But we'll break off from that, because here come France. Finally, a bit of space here for Elise down the right-hand side into the penalty area. But again, double block there. Gustavo Gomez and Alderete get the block in, but France have a corner.
In fairness to Paraguay, they're getting their work done, aren't they? But they didn't defend the corner particularly well. Then the ball comes
wretched corner that from
France.
Well,
it was a short corner, and that was fine. But then the ball-in was terrible, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it was almost like Dembele wasn't expecting that short corner from Elise. So when he got it, he just looked up and then just put a ball along the deck into the penalty area, and Paraguay were able to get it clear without anyone in a French shirt getting anywhere near it. But now it's Junior Alonso down the left-hand side here for Paraguay. His pass is blocked by Jules Koundé.
I think that sometimes you have to play off the cuff when you're playing against a team who are just set in their 5-4-1 like they are. So playing quick ball and trying to do something there, it was a good idea. It just didn't execute it at all, did they? But I sort of like that. The other thing for France, I think they've got to move the ball quicker. Now, because they get an easy ball, everybody's taking 2 or 3 touches. Strong challenge in the middle of the park there.
Yeah,
and,
there's going to be a card here for Barcola. You could look at the fury on that Paraguay benches. Oh, they were all up. All the substitutes, all the coaches, the physios and the manager were all leading a charge to ask for a yellow card. And in fairness, I mean, it's the sweep I don't like. I'm not really quite sure. It's just a little bit careless there from Barcola.
Is there much contact at all?
Just toe end, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that much. I think the reaction of the player gets the booking as much as anything else. I'm not saying he doesn't feel it, Caceres, but I'm just saying he's overdoing it.
But
I also think Barclay's had a frustrating start to the game.
He has. He's just like Elise, he's been looking comfortable in sort of floating from midfield to right wing to left wing. Mbappe's been dropping deep and he's been happy. Barcola doesn't seem to be happy in that sort of left-sided attacking role.
I mean, I'd have Cherki in the team ahead of him.
I would as well. Whether or not Cherki likes being in that wide role, but he would adapt to it.
No, he can play anywhere. He did play wide for Lyon, didn't he, in a front three, so he definitely could do it.
He did, yeah. We just saw Didier Deschamps there. The expression on his face would suggest that he doesn't feel particularly impressed with the referee's decision. I don't blame Caceres. If he's got a chance of getting one of the French players booked and slow the game down, get his side a free kick and just take the sting out of a bit of French possession, then he should do it, really.
Well, he did do it, and our referee Tanshev bought it, if you like. I think, for me, there wasn't much in it. There's no intent to be nasty or anything like that. I just felt maybe he's a little bit off. I wouldn't have booked him for that. I'd have definitely given a free kick, though. Yeah,
the contact itself wasn't worthy of a yellow card. I think it's just the way that Barcola swept his foot. But an awful free kick from Miguel Almiron. I mean, it's the equivalent of something like, finding touch in rugby, except that there was just no need for that. He just pumped a ball straight down this right wing, and it sailed out for a throw.
Well, that tells me that they're frightened to death of France breaking on them. You know, it's like, I'll play a percentage ball down the line. It might go out, but even if it does, then at least we're not committed. And
well, it's a very risky strategy to almost play for penalties in the first half against a team that I would be amazed if France don't score in the 90 minutes in this game, just because of the attacking threat that they do. Obviously, if it gets to 88 minutes and it's still 0-0, then I'll have to eat my words. But I do think there's enough about this French team to get a goal in this game. And I suppose from Paraguay's point of view, it's almost for the sooner France score, the better, because if they leave it late, Paraguay won't even have any time to try and adapt. As Barcola and Caceres, they've had a little bit of a coming together there again, but on this occasion, it's the Paraguay man that wins the ball without a foul. It's been played back to the edge of the area. Velasquez's clearance now doesn't find Enciso. A little back heel there from Digne, but the ball just ricochets back into French territory. Saliba's got some work to do here. Combination of Enciso and Diego Gomez win the ball back for Paraguay, but then a ball across the middle wasn't kept alive there by Galazra, and it's back into French possession here now down the right-hand side. We're a couple of minutes away from the hydration break, and they certainly need it today. I say it's 32 degrees in Philadelphia right now. As the ball played to the edge of the area, here is Koundé. Koundé pulls the trigger, and it just sails wide. The goalkeeper was rooted to the spot, and it's actually taken a nick off one of the defenders. It's going to be a corner.
Well, the way he sat there and the way he hit that ball, I thought I might be flying in, and I could tell from your voice that you thought the same thing. Space and time, and he cuts across. It really gets lots of pace on it, but it is a corner kick.
Yeah, just got a slight nick, and that just took the ball away from the far post corner coming from Dembele. That's a much better ball. It's headed clear at the edge of the area, just at the near post, at the edge of the 6-yard box, I should have said. It's played back over towards Dembele here on the left-hand side. His cross, well, in fact, it's not even a cross. He plays a ball all the way back to the halfway line here, where Kone and Koundé are the two last back here for France. Ball played to Saliba. It's with Manu Kone again. Out towards the right-hand side. Rabiot has stayed on the right this time. He puts a deep cross into the penalty area. It's nodded clear, and that won't be kept in play. It's out for another corner.
Yeah, they're under the pump, aren't they? And it's going to be like this pretty much the entirety of the match, particularly if they manage to hang on in there. A goal will break the game up, but Paraguay don't want a goal. They would snatch your arm off a 0-0 after 90 minutes.
Yes, they certainly would. As the cross, deep cross coming in this time is 2D. They can't quite get their crosses right so far in this game. France have had a couple of disappointing corners, and the first one we saw was under hit. This one is very much over hit, and it sails out for a goal kick. And that will in fact be the last action. The players haven't even had time to go off the field, and the sprinklers are already coming on. So it's not just the players, but in fact the turf itself needs a bit of a hydration break now. And overall, it's pretty much the 23 minutes we were expecting, John.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's trapdoor football, and you think, if you're watching a team like Paraguay over a long period, say it was your team and they were in the Premier League or what have you, and they were overmatched all the time, watching 5-4-1 would be a miserable existence. But this isn't like that, because this is trapdoor football. It's a competition. And for those with a long enough memory, we remember a Greece side winning the Euros. How did they do it? Well, pretty much by low blocking and being pragmatic. Getting through. is the most important thing. Not conceding. They didn't have to be flash or fancy. They had to do what they needed to do. I don't mind Paraguay being 5-4-1. Like I said, if you're going to low block, do it properly, and they are. They're defending, really staunchly, and they're winning their 50-50s. This is the only way that they can get through. So I'm all over that. But I always want the better team to win. And I want the more imaginative team, the team who wants to show quality and go forward. I'd always rather they win. I get, the plucky underdog, that kind of thing. But I just, when Greece won the Euros, it's like, oh, terrific for them. But it wasn't a great spectacle.
No, it wasn't. As I say, they make no bones about it. I mean, there's a great documentary made about that Greece victory, and the players there, they talk about how amazing it was to win. They don't talk about some amazing footballing moments. They scored some good goals in the tournament. They had some amazing moments, but it was a workmanlike team, and they knew that what they had to do was upset the sort of the rhythm of the more fancied sides, and they did that very, very well. And Paraguay, of course, they're going to try and do that throughout the 90. The question is, of course, whether they've got enough about them to be able to do it for the full 90 minutes, because you just feel that France, at some point, there is enough attacking threat there from that French 11 to be able to really turn everything in their favour. And of course, they have got so many options off the bench as well. In terms of forward players, and the aforementioned Ryan Cherky certainly springs to mind. But the two sets of players now making their way back onto the field. We're coming to the end of the hydration break. It is goalless here in Philadelphia between Paraguay and France, and it will be John to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So far, I've been quite enjoying it. I know what I've said. I know that Paraguay have to play a certain way, and France will play the way that they're going to play. They're attacking. I think they could roll this team out in a final in the same formation, really, against anybody. So they're showing respect to Paraguay, if you like. The thing is, they've got two centre-backs who are looking after one man who isn't that big. So they can send the full-backs forward. Like I said, I'd just like to see Koundé get around his man and overlap him and try and get round the back. I think a couple of times they've managed to get round Alonso already. So I think he's under most pressure, and that would be what I'd be looking for. And then, ball to Dini to whip in crosses. Because it's all right trying to pad the ball around and play like they are. But France, I've just noticed that if you get a lot of ball, professional footballers, all of a sudden they start taking 2 or 3 touches, thinking this is great. I don't usually get this much time. But they don't move the ball around quick enough because of that. Anyway, Caceres has got throw here. Paraguay trying to make some ground. He's thrown the ball away there. It'll bounce through to Mike Mignon, and he will pick the ball up and roll it out. And off we go. Koundé on his bike over the halfway line, and he finds Dembele back into midfield, and it's Kone. He's driving forward, and there. We expected to be at the edge of the area. It's sloppiness from Kone. He's giving the ball away. Almiron, as ever. I thought he had a good game against Germany. I thought he could have been their best player, and here he goes. He's made a lot of ground. He's now parallel with the edge of the area. He scrapes the ball in, not his finest hour. There wasn't a great deal of support. Still thought he could do better. But then the ball is one in the middle of the park, Galatza. And now a shot comes in from Diego Gomez. It broke to him. He just thought, I'll have a go, and smashes it well wide of the goal frame.
It's a shame in the end, because I don't think he needs to hit that first time. He could have actually taken a touch and really set himself with that, rather than sort of taking a sweep at it. But whether or not it's Paraguay have been let off the reins just a little bit after this drinks break, it remains to be seen. But maybe the manager is just telling them to try a little something. But now a long ball through to Barcola.
Yeah, he looked like he broke round the back for a nanosecond there, and the ball got a little bit long for Bradley Barcola. Paraguay 0, France 0. So La Albiroja holding Les Bleus, and at the minute it's the game we expected, because France are dominating it, and there just needs to be that little bit more quality. Can they pass around them? Well, it's very difficult to do. So somebody needs to drop a shoulder. Mbappe uses pace. So, like I said, tactically they need to work out how they can get an overload. But for the minute, because they're not under that much pressure, it's like, well, we can do whatever we like. Here's Dembele now. He's driving towards Alonso. Puts the ball into the box. Elise gets rid of it. Dembele ball in. And it deflects right across the face of goal. Caceres should be able to clear his lines. And eventually he will. He thumps it long. And the ball's going to come straight back there. So easy enough for Saliba. And then just to the edge of the area. Again, Barcola. Again, he runs into trouble, and yet again he's lost the ball. There's a Paraguay player down. I'm not sure how badly this player's being caught, but
Almiron,
yeah, a bit of rolling around from Miguel Almiron, the former Newcastle man. I always liked him.
There's a bit of a tangle there.
There's a tangle, but he's hurt himself there. I don't think there was anything to do with Barcola. I did like him at Newcastle. I thought he always gave his all. He went through little spells where he just couldn't buy a goal or even an assist, and all that hard work seemingly for nothing.
Well, there seems to be that certain players just seem to not sort of fall out of favour with Eddie Howe, and then it's very difficult for them to sort of find their way back. I mean, you look at how good Johan Wissa was for Congo, for DRC at this World Cup, and then you think obviously he had injuries at Newcastle, but it seemed like he couldn't quite sort of get things going with Eddie Howe either. But that was certainly half a chance there for Paraguay to get the ball up the field. They have got the ball up the field, but 2 passes later, it's a free kick to France.
Yeah, funny you talk about Eddie Howe, because obviously Paraguay knocked Germany out. Nick Voltemade showed his face, and he looks like a player who doesn't know whether he's a number 10 or a striker now. And neither does Eddie Howe. Doesn't know how to get the best out of him, and I think didn't really know what they were buying at the time. Anyway, here Elise again. This time Koundé does overlap him, but he doesn't use him. Use him as a decoy, perhaps. That just allowed Junior Alonso to set in his inside. Good cross comes in. There's a header from Mbappe, and he's been, well, just gone wide. He just couldn't get enough head on that, but it's a good ball from the right-hand side. And like I said, sometimes early ball is exactly what's required. Dembele puts a good ball in. Paraguay have got a lot of defenders back, but sometimes that means that back line is like a dog's hind leg. People stepping out. To get 2 in a line, 2 centre-backs is difficult. Never mind trying to get a back 5 all in.
No, absolutely that. And I just think that they're going to be sitting back so deep that they're almost not going to be able to play much of an offside, because they're not going to be trying to catch France out as in C, so desperately trying to keep possession going, but Upamecano puts it up for a throw.
Yeah, Upamecano still at Bayern Munich. I thought his contract was running out, so he was going to go to Real Madrid, something like that. Anyway, he's probably one of the best centre-backs in the world, I think. Very strong. But they don't have to be too strong there. Saliba lets the ball fly over his face, and Enciso, who's at Strasbourg at the minute, he can't get anything going. And so Les Bleus again, off they go over the far side in the sunshine. I'll be playing near side in the shade, don't you, as Rabiot very wisely it stays on the shady side of the pitch. Ball travels out to right for Dembele, but it's a poor ball from him. Very difficult passing through those lines, as Alonso then will try and clear his line. Not a great ball from him, and immediately it's given back, and that's the pattern of the game, really.
It is the pattern of the game. Paraguay are just happy to clear the ball from the edge of their penalty area, but now France with the overlap here. Rabiot tees up a strike. He lifts it over the bar.
He hit it hard, didn't he? But he just got underneath that one a little bit. It's interesting, the football that they're using in this World Cup. They spent a lot of time developing it, and what they reckon is it gets a certain velocity, it actually speeds up, which has been catching some of the keepers out a little bit. But
it's in many ways it's nothing new that the footballs have been altered for World Cups in the past. We've heard that certain balls have been too light, they're flying too much in the air, and generally the manufacturers are going in that direction. They want the ball to do more in the air because it looks great in the replays, and obviously it means that more amazing goals can be scored.
Well, this one actually flies really true. Remember that ball for South Africa, the Jabulani, was terrible because it oscillated in the edge and it moved side to side. Didn't give anybody a chance. It was very light as well, shots going over, but this one flies quite true. I reckon there's only 4 panes in it, or when there used to be X amount, so it's very sophisticated. But Paraguay have got a free kick here in the meanwhile, a challenge in the middle of the park, an opportunity then to load up the box. Out comes Mike Mignon, and that's a good take from the Milan keeper. Eventually he's got somebody falling all over him. Gustavo Velasquez. That was all really needless stuff, wasn't it? Didn't need to do that. And Mignon didn't like it. But anyway, he bowls the ball out and off we go again. Saliba. Everybody fancying getting a kick at the moment. There's Rabiot now over the halfway line. Everyone wants a kick, but can anybody get the vital kick? Now Digne sweeps the ball. He's inside to Mbappe. Beats the first one. He was getting his shirt pulled, and then his little shove from him. And he in turn gets shoved by Gomez, and then Enciso, then Dembele comes across, and everybody's wanting a little bit of everybody else. And all of a sudden now there's a little bit of a squabble. I tell you what, fair play to Orlando. He's come out and he's trying to separate players, and the referees try to cool them all down.
The referee got involved very quickly there as well, I thought.
Yeah, it did. I did the last game, and of course we had an English referee, Michael Oliver. He had to get involved. Hakimi,
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
was having a bit of a stand-up do, wasn't he? And for the life of me, I can't remember who that was with, but he got in the way there. So Cubas, a little push and shove. And then Velasquez, who looks like a bit of a brawler, he comes in to help him. But they're much ado about nothing, and they're all having a hug now.
They all know it's part of the charade, isn't it? They have to sort of be outraged initially, but then of course very quickly they focus back to what they need to do. And this is a good opportunity for France. A good ball into the box can certainly test Paraguay here. Yeah,
it's a narrow angle for Elise. It's not easy to get this right. Anyway, just a little a chip to the far post. Oh, and the ball then. Well, it took a little touch off the defender. I thought he was going in for a second. Eventually, just lamped clear. Anywhere will do. But that could have gone anywhere. Cubas it was who cleared it away. At the expense of a corner, though, and Dembele now from the left-hand side is going to be a right-footed in-swinger. Hits it really deep. Ball headed away. Might break for a shot. Shot comes in, straight down the middle. And easy for Heel.
Yeah, decent strike that from Jules Koundé. He watched it all the way to make sure he would keep it on target. Shot straight down the middle, as you said. The keeper was able to make a save, but now there's an injury for one of the Paraguay players.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but anyway, bodies around everywhere there, and went straight through, so I don't quite know how a player got injured in all that. But apparently they did. It might have been Alderete, but not entirely certain. Velasquez made a clearance. He ended up on the deck in that. Not sure. Anyway, it's still goalless. And now the ball is with Orlando Hill. All 6'6" of him plays his football in San Lorenzo. Didier Deschamps looking on. Penny for his thoughts. Or should that be a Frank? Or should that be a Euro? I don't know. Anyway, the ball again with France, with Koundé. And again, he's got a load of space to run into. Nobody bothers him. And now the ball with Dembele, early ball into the box. As ever, somebody comes out to boot it away. Alderete this time. And the ball then ferried all the way back to Mignon, who chips it. Bit lackadaisical that, but easy enough dealt with. And so Upamecano, and then Kone. The ball through Elise, but he let it go, and I don't think he should have done there really. But the ball's been won, and Ciso goes down holding his foot, but he's play acting, and the referee he believes that. And then Elise's pocket's picked. That player's still down in Ciso. Needs to get up, but you're on the attack, lad. Anyway, with Almiron, tries to play the ball with the outstep, but Gomez fights hard for it. Done really well, Diego Gomez, and then he did well, and then he didn't. Ball goes from his toe end, and that makes it a goal kick.
Yeah, he just played it away from his body at the wrong moment there. He just couldn't quite get it back in as the ball was being played. But then Ciso has only just picked himself up, but France restart, and they're on the attack straight away.
Yeah, Dembele now driving into the box, and player brought down the shot to come in. Would that have counted? I don't know. The referee given a foul on Mbappe already. He's gone down. It looks in a little bit distressed. Is he overdoing it, or did he really get caught?
Well, does he get? Well,
nah.
Doesn't really. I mean, he certainly doesn't get tripped from that angle. Let's have a look. Does he actually get? Well, there's an arm across there, or a hand across. I mean, I don't think he gets tripped at all.
There's a little slap, isn't there? But it's not enough to do what he's just done. It's a bit like saying, the flag race because Galatz has slapped me a little bit. I use those words advisedly there. It's a little flick of his hand. There's no way he got caught like that, rolling around trying to get somebody booked. But you said before that's the game. We saw Barkler getting booked because Caceres had rolled around and screamed. So that when the referee gives a yellow card for that, that kind of sets the tone. Anyway, it's a corner kick. We'll talk about that later. But for the moment, this is actually football about to break out. Anyway, the ball again to the far post, up go the heads. It's come off a French head. Mbappe at the far post. Not much he could do with that, and it's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, well, he swears Mbappe that should be another corner. He's looking at the referee like it's the most obvious thing that the referee's missed. Caceres has been involved again here. Let's have a look from this replay. It clearly comes off Mbappe's shoulder.
I think he's moaning that he's been dragged away from the ball.
Yeah, well, and actually looking at that,
did it hit his arm?
It could have actually been a corner anyway after all of that.
Yeah, actually, from a different angle, it looked like maybe it came off the arm of Juan Caceres, who now they're just having words. Mbappe wagging his finger.
It's a dangerous game now because sometimes you can actually unsettle him. Oh, just a little bit of indecision there between Upamecano and Mjangnen, and Enciso trying to capitalise. The loose ball could be there for Paraguay, but it looks like Enciso has fouled as he was jumping for that. What I was going to say is that an angry Mbappe can go two ways. Sometimes it works as rocket fuel and it makes him even more dangerous. Sometimes he gets too worked up with the rivalry and forgets to actually play the game. So it's a dangerous game to try and wind up Kylian Mbappe, I think, but it can actually pay off occasionally.
Yeah, I think they've got to do what they can, Paraguay, to upset the rhythm. Stop the ball getting to him. If he wants to get involved running up against players, then that's not his game. He wants to be on the shoulder, doesn't he? Like he is right now on the shoulder of Alderete, but being marshalled by Gustavo Gomez as well. So 2 on Mbappe as they try and get round the back here. Koundé, that's better, but the ball blocked by Alderete will be another corner kick. The corners haven't been particularly good, maybe from the left-hand side. Again, Dembele wants to take it quickly. Elise looks like he will take it, but they've got a good left footer. I think I'd be letting Digne take it and have Elise ready for a pot shot at the edge of the area. Anyway, they've got a loaded box. They're doing what they're doing. Elise puts a good-looking ball in. Punched away by the keeper. Ball breaks through the box. Now an opportunity. Koundé's attempt is blocked away. Corny picks it up. Now Digne sweeps the ball in. Too close to the keeper who comes across. I like his ball round the corner, but that wasn't it.
He never whipped it there, did he? That was the problem. It was quite a flat ball in the end, an easy save for Heel. But Paraguay, as they try and play out from the back, almost get themselves into trouble. They just about get the ball away, and Cisa now hits the deck inside the centre circle, but play goes on. The ball through the middle. Too long for Diego Gomez.
Yep, they support attacks, don't they? They're desperate to get something going on the counter. They had one attack against Germany in the first half and scored it. Incredible, really. Got me off my sofa at home cheering. But I'd be less cheering today. I just think they've looked so ordinary, really. Strong defensively, but that's the game. France have got to find a way through it. And as yet, they've not exactly peppered Orlando Heel, who has had he could have taken a deck chair out there. But here we are, Dembele. Again, Koundé's on the inside of him. Elise at the edge of the area. 2 come out. Not for the first time today. He's been stopped in his tracks. Upamecano, a good ball out to Dembele. Again, 2 around him. Again, Koundé and Dembele surrounded, and he can't get the touch he wants. I think they're doing a really good job of doing what they need to do, Paraguay. But he only takes one mistake. One player knocking off. And for France, it can't be an exhibition. They've got to move the ball more quickly. As I say that, Digne takes 4 touches. And that's not it. That's not the game. They've got to pop this ball around, move them around. Upamecano, he takes 4 touches. And now Cornet runs down a blind alley, comes back out with the ball, decides he's going to have a shot. It's not a bad idea, just didn't execute particularly well. It goes over the top. It may well
be that France have just run out of steam a little bit here. You mentioned the count, the touch count there for a few players, potentially just slowing down from the sort of brisk pace that they had in the first 15 minutes. And it may be that they do need to have a little bit of a rethink. It may be that somebody like Ryan Cherky is needed in the second half.
I think
for Barcola, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that would. Yeah, he's on a yellow card anyway. Barcola would be a good idea to. If you're going to make that change, I think it would be him. Not that anybody's particularly shining that much out of them. But that's the thing. For the man on the ball, the further forward they get, he looks forward and everybody's marked off. And you take another touch and another touch. And all of a sudden, because the ball's stopped moving quickly, the players stop moving for the ball and stop moving to take a shape. The ball's not going to come to them. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to waste my time. So everyone needs stood stock still. And that just compounds the error. But here, France playing it more quickly. Dembele then just at the edge of the box. Again, he takes too many touches and everyone stood still. And that means that Paraguay can run away with the ball, and they do that pretty well. They never seem to have it for too long. As the ball rolled into midfield, they'd given it away, but now they've got a chance. Galazza driving forward and Ciso trying to get the right side, and it's difficult enough that he's up against one of the strongest defenders in the world in Upamecano, and he just couldn't find a way around him. Not for want of trying for Ciso. He's a good player. But now the ball with Mbappe, he's out wide left, just trying to get involved really, because he's getting bored of having no ball. So goes into midfield, but again you're just thinking who's going to score the goal. Right at the moment, looking forward, Barcola, he's playing number 9. Now a shot from Rabiot takes the wicked deflection, and it's easy for Orlando Heel. And again, with 45 minutes on the clock, I don't know, we'll probably get 4 added. But Paraguay 3. Paraguay have looked vaguely comfortable, I would have said.
I would have said the longer this first half has gone on, they've looked more comfortable. I think the first 10-15 minutes, they seemed to be stifling France, but France was still getting some attacking possession. Now, the French possession just seems to be stopping just a little bit further in front of the box. I mean, Paraguay aren't able to offer an attacking threat, but France is struggling to make any kind of inroads. But they're on the attack again here now with Koundé and Kone, but the pass from Kone misplaced, and now a chance for Enciso.
Yeah, but all Enciso's got to do is run the 3/4 of the pitch and beat everybody. And
he's trying to do it.
Well, he beats Upamecano and goes to byline. Then Upamecano gets the foot in, then the two tangle. Who did the ball come off? Well, Enciso thought he'd won his team a throw, and he can't believe it. But anyway, it's a good effort from him. He's wholehearted, isn't he? He's a good lad. Got legs like tree trunks, hasn't he? He's strong, but so too Upamecano. But who did the ball come off?
Well, Enciso is swearing that it should have been his ball. I do think it probably did come off Enciso last, although it was always a toss of a coin. It was very close. As Almiron doing his best there to rob the ball of Digne, but Digne just about holds on to it. Yeah, I think that the longer this first half has grown, I think Paraguay have grown in confidence, and France have potentially just started to run out of ideas a little bit, but they've still got 90 seconds before the break.
Yeah, they look more like Spain now than France, don't they? Doing what Spain do. Everybody's on the ball going sideways, not quick enough. Digne now thinks about the early ball. He got closed down, though. That's really good work. Caceres has got his hands full. They need overloads, don't they? It's no good just prodding the ball around, hoping for some inspiration. But, they could win this several ways, I suppose. But anyway, Koundé finds Mbappe, and he tries a little flick. He's popping up everywhere right now, trying to get something going, the captain. But for the moment, they're a minute away from being goalless. I'm not over surprised. I still think that one probably brings 3 or 4 for them. But, it's taking a lot of getting. They're going to have to do a lot of work at half-time to think about a way to get round. Rabiot chips the ball into the box. It's a poor ball. It bounces. Digne had stepped inside this time. Maybe Rabiot is another one you're thinking they could change him at the break. They wouldn't be losing anything. I think between Upamecano and Saliba, they've probably got Enciso covered. Maybe somebody who could pick a lock. He's the man they want off the bench. But you'd assume that they've got more. Anyway, Cherky's got to come on, I think, at some point. Here's Dembele. Not his game either. There's the ball from Koundé into the box. And Barcola can't bring it in. The referee has called it, so it's half-time, and it is goalless.